From space, the world looks quiet. Blue oceans, dark continents, city lights glowing peacefully in the night. But beneath that calm surface, something powerful is moving. A network of pipelines, tankers crossing entire oceans, refineries burning day and night, all moving the same thing: oil. And hidden inside that network is a map that explains alliances, explains tensions, explains why certain regions never seem to stay peaceful for long. Because modern civilization runs on energy, and wherever energy flows, power follows. Oil is not just fuel. It powers armies. It moves global trade. It keeps factories running and airplanes flying. Without it, modern economies slow down. And when economies slow down, governments panic. This is why powerful nations rarely treat oil as just another commodity. They protect it, secure it, and sometimes fight over the routes that carry it. Energy security is national security. But here is the strange part. The entire global oil system depends on a few narrow corridors, tiny passages on the map that carry enormous consequences. One of them lies between Iran and Oman, the Strait of Hormuz. Just a few dozen kilometers wide, yet every day, roughly 20 million barrels of oil pass through this single waterway. That is nearly 1/5 of the world's daily supply. Tankers line up like trucks on a highway, moving energy from the Persian Gulf to Asia, Europe, and beyond. Which means if that narrow corridor closes, the entire world feels it. And Hormuz is not the only choke point. Farther east lies another narrow passage, the Strait of Malacca. This route connects the Indian Ocean to the Pacific, and it carries even more oil traffic than Hormuz. It is the lifeline that keeps East Asia's economies running. China, Japan, South Korea, India, their energy supplies move through this corridor every day. Then there is the Suez Canal, a narrow artificial waterway connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. Without it, tankers would need to travel thousands of extra miles around Africa, which means more cost, more time, and more vulnerability. When you look at the global energy system this way, the world starts to look less like a map of countries and more like a map of arteries. Energy arteries, where choke points become pressure points, and pressure points attract power. History has shown what happens when energy routes are threatened. In 1973, a geopolitical shock triggered the first global oil crisis. A supply disruption of only a few percent sent oil prices skyrocketing. Gasoline lines stretched for miles. Inflation surged. Entire economies slowed down. All because energy flows were interrupted. Just a small disruption shook the global economy. Now imagine what happens if a route carrying 20% of the world's oil is suddenly blocked. And this is why certain regions remain permanently strategic. The Persian Gulf, the Eastern Mediterranean, the Red Sea, not just because of the oil underground, but because of the routes above it. Shipping lanes, pipelines, naval patrol zones, all layered together like invisible infrastructure. Today, the energy map is more complicated than ever. The United States has become one of the largest energy producers on Earth. Russia exports oil and gas across Europe and Asia. China consumes enormous amounts of energy to power its factories and cities. And the Middle East still holds some of the largest reserves on the planet, which means energy flows now connect nearly every major power. A disruption in one region can ripple across the entire system. Take Asia, for example. Many of its largest economies import the majority of their oil. Much of that supply travels from the Persian Gulf, through Hormuz, across the Indian Ocean, and into Asian ports, which means a naval confrontation in the Gulf could affect factories thousands of kilometers away. Energy supply chains are global, and that makes them fragile. This interconnected system creates stability most of the time, but it also creates tension, because every nation wants reliability, and reliability means influence over the routes. naval bases, strategic partnerships, security alliances. These are not random. They often appear near the same energy corridors. Look closely at the global map again. You will notice something interesting. Major naval deployments often appear near choke points: Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, the Strait of Malacca. These are not coincidences. They are insurance policies for the global energy system. Because a single disruption can travel through the system incredibly fast. A missile near a tanker route, a naval blockade, even the rumor of conflict. And suddenly oil prices move. Markets react, currencies shift. Entire governments start calculating their next move. The world is slowly changing. Renewable energy is expanding. Electric vehicles are becoming more common. Countries are investing in solar, wind, and new technologies. But transitions take time. And for now, oil still powers aircraft, still fuels shipping, still drives the machinery of global trade, which means the oil map still matters. When you overlay oil routes on the political map, something fascinating appears. Certain regions become permanent crossroads of power. The Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, the Eastern Mediterranean, the South China Sea. Not because they contain the largest populations, but because they contain the most important routes. Routes that connect energy producers to energy consumers. And that is why geopolitical tensions often return to the same places, again and again and again. Because the infrastructure of energy rarely changes. And whoever influences that infrastructure influences the global economy. Wars are rarely about a single headline event. They are about systems, resources, access, influence. The global oil map quietly connects all of these forces together. And once you see that map, the world begins to look different. Conflicts begin to make more sense. Alliances begin to look less surprising. And geopolitical tensions stop appearing random. Because beneath the headlines, beneath the diplomacy, beneath the speeches and press conferences, something deeper is flowing: energy. And whoever controls its movement helps shape the future of the world. Because in geopolitics, maps matter, but the most important maps are often the ones most people never see. The global oil map is one of them.